Happy November, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today it is time for my November TBR game and just my regular TBR video. As you can tell, my top shelf is a little bit more filled than usual, and that is because of what I'm doing in November. I am playing my TBR game like usual. It's in fact the last TBR game of the year because next month is Bookmas and I cannot wait. But I'm playing the TBR game. I'm going to be choosing 5 books from the TBR game, and I'm going to be focusing my attention on reading as many of my physical TBR books as possible. So I just kind of kept these out. Let's go ahead and talk about everything that I'm reading in the month of November. I'm just going to go ahead and start with 40 Days for Life reads because there are only 4 days left for 40 Days for Life. So let's just talk about that real fast and then we'll get into my normal flow of things. I wanted to read all of these books in October and I read a little bit of the devotional, but I didn't get to the other 3 are the 40 Days for Life devotional, Unplanned, and then Why Pro-Life. I really would like to do some reading of these in the next 4 days. It's not technically November TBR reading, but it is for the next 4 days. I hope that makes sense. With that, let's get into the bulk of November reading. So let's get into regular devotions. So first of all, I want to continue my Jesus Calling. If you saw my wrap-up, you know I've been reading this actually online instead of the physical copy because I found a blog that has the Jesus Calling posts. It types out all of the Bible verses that go along with the post, and it has like a prayer written by the blogger, and I've just been really enjoying that, reading it electronically, but this is the book that I'm reading. As always, I read a chapter in Gospel-Centered Kids Ministry every Saturday night before teaching my class Sunday mornings, and I forgot to read this the last 2 weekends, so I really need to get back into that, but I am about halfway through. Now let's go ahead and get into my 12 in 2022 book recommendation. If you saw at the very beginning of the year, there's like a template. It says 12 in 2022, and it's just like a reading challenge where you had people suggest books and you chose 12 of those recommended books. I have 4 left on my 12 in 2022 list, and honestly, I want to read all 4 of those remaining books this month. So we'll see how that goes, but that is my goal because next month is Bookmas. I want to focus on all the Christmas feels. That means that I need to get those other non-Christmassy books read this month. So the first of those books, I actually finally have the physical copy. This was July's book, none other than 15 Fundamental Laws of De-Escalation. And I've heard this is great. It's really short. I'm honestly not thrilled about how much I paid for this, for the tiny little booklet, but whatever. I've heard it's great. I'm looking forward to it. Looks like it should be easy to read. I mean, it's super short. I should be able to knock this out in an hour or 2, honestly. So hopefully this will get read in the month of November. Then the other 3 that I have on my 12 in 2022 are all ebooks. First, I have Timeline, which was last month's book. I did not get to it, but I am looking forward to it. I love a good book with time travel, or time elements, I guess you should say. So I'm looking forward to that. Then we have a true crime book called If You Tell, and I forget what this is about, but I'm kind of nervous about it, but I think it'll be good. I hope. Fingers crossed. And then lastly, I have the Book of Lost Names, which is based off of the Nazi takeover in Paris and the treatment of the Jews in that city at that time. I have started this book. I started it yesterday on November 1st, and it is successfully getting me out of my reading slump. I would not say that I'm like fully engaged yet. I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely intrigued. I really like it, but I do find myself zoning out a little bit just because I am trying to get back into reading after just being very slumpy for the last few weeks. Also in November, I have something that I'm very excited about that is going to be happening, and that is Gilmore-a-thon, or the Gilmore Girls Readathon. It's hosted by Liv at Liv's Library and other people that I can't remember. Sorry to those other people. I'm so excited because I love Gilmore Girls. It's my favorite show. What I'm going to do when the readathon's going on, I believe it's the 7th through 13th. That is 7 days of the readathon, and there are 7 seasons of Gilmore Girls. No, I'm not going to try to binge all of those episodes in the span of 7 days, but I do think what I'm going to do is watch the first and last episode of each season, just to kind of like re-immerse myself in Stars Hollow and the Gilmore world and just enjoy that along with reading the books. Now, I have not decided if I'm going to go along with the prompts, which are right here, or the bingo board, which is right here. I don't know yet. I just have no idea. So since I have not picked which I'm going to do, I can't pick the books for that yet. You guys will have to wait and see my vlogs and see what I end up reading for that. But yeah, that's the situation. I'm planning on watching Gilmore Girls and reading books. That's all I know right now. We'll see what happens. It is finally time for the very, very last TBR game of the year. I'm mostly excited that this is the last TBR game because that means that next month is Bookmas. How many times have I said that in this video? I don't know. But I have literally been planning for Bookmas all year long since the last Bookmas, and I can't wait. I had 5 books that I finished last month, which means that I get to play the game 5 times. If you're not familiar with my game, the elements that I play are based on the ratings of the books that I read in the previous month. So last month when I finished 5 books, I now get to play the game 5 times. I had 2 5-star reads, which means that I get to choose 2 prompts from this heart basket. I had 1 4-star read, which means I get to play the TBR Trouble 1 time. I had 1 3-star read, which means I get to draw a prompt from this little cup here. And I had 1 1-star read, which means I get to play Fib Finder, which is under my shelf, and I will pull it out when it's time. So let's go ahead and get into it. These are filled with 5-star predictions or books that I'm excited to read, or at least that's what the rule will be in January. I think at the time that I wrote these, they were all 5-star predictions, but let's go ahead and see what we get for the first one. And they all get stuck together. So I try to pick the one that's like the furthest inside the others, just so that I'm not like being able to, you know, manipulate the results. Can we tell what that says? Point made. I've already read that, so we can throw that away. What's this one? What's that say? Oh, okay. The Advocate. That's a short one and intriguing enough. Very along the same vein of Point Made also. Where is The Advocate? There it is. A tiny one. Like I said, this is all about legal advocacy and I'm excited about it. It says, what kind of advocate are you? From where do you draw your strength, your inspiration, your will to stand up and speak for those who need an advocate? The wisdom, real life experiences, and observations in this book are for all advocates, not just attorneys. Now, I am licensed as an attorney, but I do not practice as an attorney, so this is perfect for me. I do guardian ad litem volunteering, and so that is my advocacy in the legal field. And then I am also in school to become a teacher, so I have that form of advocacy. And then I am also coordinator for one of the children's ministry teams at my church, and so I have that kind of advocacy as well. So I feel like this will be something that I can apply in a lot of different areas, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's pick another one because I had 2 5-star reads last month. Try to pick this one that's inside. What's it say? I've already read that. Pretty happy with myself. What about this one? Oh, rollover bag? Okay. So I'm gonna hold off on this and I will choose 2 books when I get my rollovers bag out. Don't let me forget that. So let's move on to TBR Trouble, which is literally just a little trouble game I got in a Happy Meal. But basically, I roll the dice multiple times and the number that it lands on corresponds with one of these books on my TBR cart. Let me go ahead and lower the camera. So now you can kind of see both shelves. This here and this here are all my TBR cart books. So basically every number corresponds with a section of books. I have to count how many books I have, and then I will roll the dice, see what it lands on. Usually landing on a 1 means I read the longest book. Landing on a 6, that was a 7. Landing on a 6 means that I can read whatever I want. And then 2, 3, 4, and 5 correspond with a section of books here. So give me 1 second while I count these. All right, so if it lands on a 1, I choose the longest book, which I wouldn't even know But that would probably Firefly Lane for sure. That definitely looks like the longest. If it lands on a 6, I choose whatever I want. If it lands on a 2, I will roll again, narrow it down to one of these books. 3, narrow it down, it'll be one of these. 4, it'll be one of these. 5, it'll be one of those. Let's do this. And I only have to choose one book from this, so let's do it. All right, it's a 2, which means it's going to be one of these books. And it's a 3. These would be 1 or 2. These would be 3 or 4. These would be 5 or 6. It landed on a 3, so it's going to be one of these 3. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm interested in all 3 of those. I was thinking about this one, so I'm going to be kind of surprised if it doesn't end up on that, but let's see what happens. Although last month, I remember saying that The Harbinger 2 gave me November vibes, so let's see what happens. It's a 3. I don't know how I do this. Like, I just look at the books that, for whatever reason, I randomly end up looking at the books that my TBR game chooses, but it is The Mingling of Souls, which I think this is going to be fantastic. I've heard great things about it for years and years and years. I've just never actually read it. But basically, the wisest person who ever lived had a lot to say about love. Maybe it's time we listened. The Song of Solomon offers strikingly candid and timeless insights on romance, dating, marriage, and sex. We need to heed Solomon's words. Emotions rise and fall with a simple glance, touch, kiss, or word. Sounds very spicy, but it's literally a nonfiction. Okay, and we are inundated with songs, movies, and advice that contradict God's design for love and intimacy. Matt Chandler helps navigate these singles and marrieds by revealing the process Solomon himself followed: attraction, courtship, marriage, even arguing. The Mingling of Souls will forever change how you view and approach love. So I'm really interested in this. I usually would not go for like a relationship book in the middle of November, but the fact that I was looking at this the other day, it just, I don't know how I do it. Next, we are going to choose one prompt from this cup and this cup only. I'm just going to swirl my hand around in there. No, I wanted that one. I don't know what it was, but it felt like good vibes. All right, we'll go with this one, which is an old Book-Oplathon one. I believe this is from last year. What does that say? That's a lot of writing. Here, let me show you first. Watch oldest vlog on watch later and pick book from that. Ooh. Dang. I'm gonna have to do that after I film, and I will just go ahead and insert the picture here. But dang, what a prompt. That's kind of fun. All right. Time for Fib Finder. Let's do this. Let me get it out. We'll play. It'll be great. Okay, here we have the Fib Finder game. So you may notice that there are no middle grade books here. I don't have any that I really want to read this month, and I am making a change to my Fib Finder rules in January, so I just decided to go with it and choose one of the books I'm most excited to read and one of the books I'm least excited to read. So at the top, we have Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna, and at the bottom, we have Bloodline, which sounds like it's a good book, but it's just not one that I am really drawn to right now. So that's what I put on the Fib side. So basically, if you haven't seen this before, I play Fib Finder 5 times, and whichever side, top or bottom, the little pawn or whatever, it's not a pawn, but the little piece, game piece, ends up on is the book that I read. So we're hoping that it ends up on the top, but if it ends up on the bottom, I'll be reading Bloodline. So let's see what the game has in store. Alright, turn number 5 is the tree test. If it lands on yellow, we have to stay and do another turn, but otherwise we're going to find out what we're reading. Oh, okay. Turn number 6. The deciding factor. Pick wisely. Okay. So it's going to be Bloodline. Okay, so we're back, and as you saw, the binder chose Bloodline, which was the book that I wasn't most excited to read. I was thinking of unhauling this when I do my end of year unhaul, and I guess this will just give me a good chance to see if it's something I do want to unhaul or if I actually really enjoy it, because I am definitely one that judges a book by its cover, and this is just kind of not giving me the vibes I'm hoping for, but I guess we'll see what it's like. This may be an amazing book. I don't know. We'll find out. Let me go ahead and get out that rollovers bag. Okay, so here we have the rollovers bag. I'm just going to put it down to the side. Let me get out No God But One. Alright, so for the last 2 months, this has been the rollover that I've been kind of stuck on. I am really enjoying this. As I said in my wrap-up, I have no doubt that this will be a 5-star. It's just taking me a minute to get through because I have been in a reading slump and I don't want to just like read through it without paying attention, you know? So for this month, I'm going to do what I did last month. I am going to reach in my rollovers bag, pull out a book. I will decide between those two which I want to be my main rollover for the month. And then I also need to draw a book out of my rollovers bag for my TBR game. So let's do this. Let me get my bag up here in my lap. First book that I touch is The Chosen One. I've also been thinking about this one. That is so weird. Like, every time I think of my rollovers bag, this one comes to mind and one other one comes to mind, and I don't really think about the other books that are in here. But dang, okay. So to choose between these two is really tough. But just because I just want to change, I want to be able to focus, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose Killing Kryptonite. I'm going to put this back in the rollovers bag, and this is going to be my rollover for the time being, and hopefully I will get back to No God But One, but I need to get back into reading, period, before I do that. So Killing Kryptonite. I need to text my friend because I'm pretty sure she has a copy of this, and I think we need to do some buddy reading. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Okay. All right, now back to the rollovers bag. Try to turn it around a few times, confuse myself because I just saw what's in the bag. Okay, I'm reaching in. This is for my TBR game. That's the outside of the bag. That's not a book. Okay. I'm touching 2 books. That's problematic. But you know what? November, let's treat ourselves. I'm going to choose between these 2. I turned them around and I still picked this one out. Which do I choose? I'm going with Sacred Marriage. Because this is the one that I saw. I turned it around specifically because I didn't want to like know where it was and try to get it. It's just meant to be. It is what it is. Apparently I know these things. We're going with Sacred Marriage. Now that the rollovers bag's done, I have one more segment of books that I totally forgot. I need to include this, and that is ebooks. These are books that I needed to read last month that I didn't get to. 3 of them are going to be for a specific vlog. Basically, the vlog is going to be me reading books that you guys wanted me to read, and that will include if I continue with The Silent Patient or if I decide to just DNF it. It'll also be the guest list. And there are a couple books that tied that I'm leaning towards Caraval, however you say that, only because I can't think of what the other ones were. I tried Never Saw Me Coming and I didn't like it at all, so I DNF'd that one after like 10 pages. The Attic Child was one of them, and then The Turn of the Key was another, so I could choose between those, but definitely need to decide on The Silent Patient, read the guest list, and then one of those other books. The other ebook that I want to read this month is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I've never read any of her books, but one of my friends asked me, she was very insistent that I read it so that she can vent. So I need to read that at some point, hopefully this month. If it's not this month, it's going to have to be January, and I'd rather not put it off because she's already been waiting like a month. Anyway, Verity. Since I have chosen so few books that I have to read in November, I am also going to be giving myself the opportunity to mood read read some books that I'm really wanting to. That's why I have some of these still up here. I also totally forgot Synapse, which is part of a book box that I got for my birthday, and I have it scheduled that I'm going to finish that vlog from August and combine it with this month of me trying out all the treats in that box, reading that book. I need to finish it this month before Christmas because of course I'm going to ask for another box for Christmas, so I want to have this one done. I also have these books that I can mood read. I'm also, if I feel like it, I'm going to let myself choose any of these books on my TBR cart, read whatever I want. I'm going to do try a chapter videos. I'm just going to try to enjoy my reading as much as possible, see what books I'm really loving and what books I'm not loving. And I'm going to have a big book unhaul either at the end of this month or at the end of next month. I'm not sure when it's going to be, but it's happening and I'm excited about it. But in order to do that, I need to try out some books. So I'm giving myself free rein. Even though I picked this TBR, it's very much, I can choose whatever I want. I am going to focus on the TBR at first, but I also have days scheduled where I'm just going to mood read. In fact, today is one of those mood read days. I could literally pick wherever I want. I'm picking one of my TBR books, but I have specifically planned it that way. Anyway, that's enough. I'm going to get into the outro. Here it is. Enjoy. That is everything for November's TBR. This is the last, how many times do I need to say it? I don't know. This is the last TBR and TBR game of the year. We'll be back with another TBR and TBR game in January, but this is it until after Bookmas. I'm so excited. Guys, I've been waiting for this time of year all year long, and it's finally here. And I'm excited about it. Now, I do need to go watch my oldest watch later so I can choose my last book. It is a book haul from Reagan from Peruse Project. So she has definitely like a very specific taste in books. Very intriguing. I'm looking forward to seeing what she picked up in that book haul. And hopefully there is something in there that I am interested in. So we'll see what happens. But you guys already know. I don't know yet. Anyway, that's everything for this vlog. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. It's always a little bit chaotic here with the TBR game, but I feel like this one was pretty subdued. This one was pretty chill compared to some of the other ones in the past. But if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment below what you're excited to read this month, and be sure to subscribe if you are new here and you have not subscribed already. I have lots of plans. Basically, my plan for November is one day I will post a video, the next day I will do reading sprints, and we'll just kind of alternate throughout the month. That is my goal. That is my plan. Fingers crossed it happens. We will find out, but I don't want you guys to miss it. If I do end up being able to do all of that content this month, it'll be so much fun, and I want you to be part of it. So that's everything. Thank you guys so much for being here. I will talk to you guys next time. That is all. Bye!